हेलो
Check.
यहाँ उपस्थित सम्पूर्ण दर्शकवृन्दहरूलाई म सम्पदा मल्लको नमस्ते र today we have with us Maria Goretti. If you are a 90s kid, I'm sure you recognize her a lot because I've grown up watching her in MTV as a VJ, as a very popular VJ. And till date, it's 2024, but we've not forgotten you. That's a big achievement. I want to give a small introduction about her. An economic graduate, a professional jazz and tap dancer, a popular model for top Indian brands in the 1990s, a famous MTV VJ, a roaming presenter for international cricket, mother of two spirited teenagers, protector of their adventure filled lives, a diver, a mountain climber, Cordon Bleu chef, the creator of a successful YouTube channel, and the author of Gourmand World award winning book From My Kitchen to Yours. Maria Goretti, wearer of many hats, woman with 10 arms. And now she has published a new book of poetry, which is To the Moon and Back. Ma'am, welcome to Kathmandu, first of all. So, how's
Thank
Kathmandu
you.
treating you right now?
Actually, I've not stepped out of this hotel, so I'm in a cocoon at the moment. Once I finish with my work is when I will get a chance to explore Kathmandu.
Because you're a mountain climber, also. Have you I want to make this conversation like really informal because since some time we've been talking over lunch. So the questions will be like up and down. So
Go
let's
for
just
it.
have a chat. Let's have a informal conversation. You're a mountain climber also. I never knew that.
So I like trekking, but I think the biggest trek I've done till today is Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
Now, compared to the Everest, that is baby steps.
Mhm.
So I've not had the I still don't know whether I can even try base camp here.
Okay. So it was like
But
years back,
yeah, it was
mountain
years
climbing.
back.
How old were you, like
It was
tentatively?
about 7 years back, actually,
Okay,
8 years
seven
back.
years back.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
then I injured my knee while because I used to run marathons.
Okay.
So after that, I have not trekked. So I get a little worried when I think about a trek. I get a little worried.
You're an economics graduate, but I was watching one of your interviews, and you said that whenever somebody used to ask you as a child, "What do you want to be?" you would always say, "I want to be happy." And I think that's what shows because you, from a VJ, from mountain climbing, is it that is it the search for happiness that has made you do so many things?
I think it is. I think there's no one path to happiness. So I think in life, if you're able to walk on a path and say, okay, it's not reaching there probably, and if you want to try another, I think your mind should be open enough to do that. And I feel if you don't put yourself in boxes, I think it's the nicest thing, no? Because you feel free, you feel okay and happy with yourself. You don't. It's not that when you walk to a certain place, you find a wall that you can't go through, so you have to climb it. So I just feel that in my head, I don't have any boxes, and I enjoy that.
Let's go back to your 90s days, I guess, when you did your economic graduate. Are you from Mumbai, born in
I
Mumbai?
am from Mumbai, born and
Okay,
brought up in
born and brought
Mumbai.
up in
Yes.
Mumbai. So Bollywood always like attracted
No,
you,
not at
or
all. I have. I'm not a film. I'm not a film actor at all. I studied. I danced. I did a lot of dancing. I did a lot of ad films, and then I got into MTV. I was hosting a lot of shows on Z. Then I got into MTV. I spent 5.5 years with MTV India, and then I did cricket. Then I had kids. Then I decided to go back to school and study because I got interested in food and I didn't know how to cook, so I didn't know how to feed my kids. So I started. I went off to London to a Gordon Ramsay holding called Tante Marie, where I studied food. Then I came back. Then I wrote a book, and then I decided that I need to learn pastry. So I joined Le Cordon Bleu. I went and did my diploma in pastry. Then I came back and I've been writing poetry since 2011.
yes. So let's
So here we are.
yeah, let's talk about poetry. You've mentioned that poetry is love and love is poetry.
I think poetry is always what your insides are consuming, you know. So I think most of the time when I write, it's because um, I have read about something, I have seen something, I've spoken to somebody about something, I have felt something, I have listened to people talk about love, life, loneliness, happiness, everything. So I think all of that lives inside us. And somehow, um, and somehow it comes out in the form of poetry.
Let's hear one of your best poetries
Best, I don't know,
or
but
anyone that you like.
I will, yeah, I'll read the shortest one in this book. So, this is a poem called War. When we went to war with our hearts and our heads, with warfare set, strategies planned, and emotional treaties negotiated, you chose to battle for you. I chose your side too. Who chose me? I never thought of this before. But today I ask myself, who is on my side? Not you, not even me. I was at war with no armor, just a heart full of hope and a battlefield ahead.
Oh, wow. Very nice. So, do you remember the time when you wrote this poem?
No, I don't
No.
remember the time I wrote this poem because I didn't mark it. I write it all on my phone. So if I even make one correction, then
Was it like night or day? Like,
I don't remember all this. I've been writing now since 2011, like I said. But I think this is a poem which resonates with all of us. Because I think all of us, when it comes to close relationships, whether it be parents, whether it be friends, whether it be your children, or whether it is your partner, I think all of us feel that we always need to give more. That's just normal human emotion. And this came out of that. It's like sometimes you give so much that nobody has your back, so I feel, I tell this to my children. I don't know how much of it goes in. I always tell them that, look after yourself. You need to look after yourself. Nobody told us this. We were told that, you must give, you must be magnanimous, you must, you know like in the Bible it says, if someone hits you on one cheek, turn the other cheek. I think you need to tell them to stop, not turn the other cheek. So I think growing up, I grew up a certain way, and then I grew up a certain way. So I think today who I am is very different from who I was. I still am the same, but I'm a bit different.
what do you mean? Like, how do you see yourself like transforming?
I
Is
think,
it reflected in your poetry today?
yeah, today
Because the other
I,
thing is that maybe this is your first poetry book.
yeah,
Because
but it's a compilation of a
yes,
lot.
and the first poetry book is always a book that it comes from your heart, right?
Yeah,
And you've just written about love. And
yeah,
when I watched your interviews also, you always talk about, I want to do like what makes me happy,
happy.
something
Yeah.
related to love. And that love has come out
So I
in
think
your
I have,
first book.
yeah, I think we all express love in so many different ways. We all have different love languages. One of my love language is food. If I like cooking for people who I love. So that is one of the things. There are things that I love. I love books. I love reading books. I recently realized that I also love um, world issues that I never thought I would ever be involved in. I am extremely. I'm like a lover of nature. It's like you put me in the middle of mountains, you put me in the middle of a forest, and you put me near the sea, and I'm happiest. I need nobody. I'm absolutely fine. So I think we all have different versions to love.
But adding on to this, whenever we talk about love, okay, like this book, so we always think about, romantic
So this
love,
book
right?
is
Yeah,
this
so
book is about romantic love.
okay, so it's So I want to ask you, like, have you? Is it just about the typical conventional romance that we talk about, or have you experienced? Have you like written about a lot of other dimensions of love?
No, I think this is a unidimensional book about love and relationships, and probably what you feel, what you go through, all that kind of, which is it's very straightforward. But the language is very straightforward, but the thought process is very deep. When I wrote this, I always thought that there are two ways in which you can write. You can write in a way that impresses everybody, or you can write in a way that helps everybody understand a process or a thought better. So I always chose that. That you keep it as simple, but it touches you. If I write and nobody can understand what I've written, it's of no use. So when I read War to You, you understood it. Everyone understands it. It's a simple thought, and it's simple words that reach you, and I think that's important.
What's the best compliment that you've ever received? Because as a VJ, you must have received a lot of compliments, and then you were basically you started you. I really want to ask you, why did you do economic graduate? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Why did you do economics
Okay,
graduate?
so I was studying arts at that time, and at that time we didn't have so many different I would say roads for education. We had arts, science, commerce. So I definitely knew I'm not taking science because I was not going down that stream. I was not great with numbers, so I knew commerce was not for me. So I had arts. So when I came to my final year, I looked at all the subjects I had and I said, oh my God, I need something with a little more challenge. Let's pick the most difficult. So I took economics. Very stupid, but that's how I did economics. And I wanted
But
to
you never.
kick myself for doing economics. It was so tough. But I think I wanted that challenge.
So this question is also because I see some youngsters over here, and we still have that pressure that, art and all these professions that you have done are all non-conventional professions, right? So was it a pressure from your parents, or what was it that made you do economics graduate, but then you realized that no, this is not my calling, and all the callings, all the career options that you've done is obviously non-conventional even till date, right?
So I really think education is important. I think education is the most important and the most amazing gift you will ever gift yourself. And it really doesn't matter what you study, because those many years, the 15 years that we spend in school, in college, doing our undergrad, doing our postgrad, I think it lays the foundation for whatever else that you want to do. Not necessary that if I did economics, I'm going to be making policies, but there's your education, and then there is a parallel line that teaches you about discipline, about consistency, about showing up, about being nice to your peers, about respecting your teachers. There are so many different layers that you don't even understand, because at that point of time, all you're interested in is finishing your exams, and you don't like somebody in school and somebody is giving you a hard time. But it's it's one of the most important things in life. And I feel today there to do an undergrad, you can do an undergrad in almost anything, and I think the kids today are so lucky. I always tell my son, when my son was wondering what he should be picking up.
So what is he doing
So today
right now?
he's doing filmmaking, but last year he was doing marketing. He was doing business marketing, and he realized that that is not for him. And he said, "I don't want to do it. I think I'm going to study film." So I said, "Yes, study film." But for me, I felt that I told him, I said, "Zeke, do an undergrad in make a chair, but do that education, because it really, really runs a long way."
So while choosing these non-conventional jobs, I don't want to mention as a part, but you're also the wife of famous actor Arshad Varsi. A very, I'm a big fan of him. So both of you have chosen non-conventional careers. So was it tough?
So I think at that time when I was in it, like I said, I was just living life. So I finished my graduation. I also went to design school, by the way. So I've done many things. So
But everything related to again the non-conventional
probably,
careers, right?
yeah, because yeah. So I thought I want to do design. So I did design school also, um, and I just feel that uh, I never really put too much of thought at that point of time into how do I want my life to pan out. I At that point of time, I just wanted to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and to be financially independent and to be able to have a job that I love. And fortunately, I do. And so whenever I go out to work, it feels like a holiday. So I think I'm pretty blessed. I feel blessed.
There's also a saying that you say that you have to focus on one career, you know, and your husband has also more or less focused on acting, but you focused on so many careers. So we have this kind of mindset that like too much of hats can like lead you nowhere or something. Have you experienced that? I mean, like, what has this lot of because I think this is still a stigma in our society that okay, you have to first, it was like conventional career, follow conventional career, and then it's like you can't do a lot of things. But you've done a lot of things, from being a chef to being writing a book and everything. So, as a person, when you look back at your journey, do you think that you've given justice to every careers that you've done?
Absolutely. I think when I was a VJ, that's all I did. And I gave it my 300%. When I decided, when I went and I was doing cricket, I didn't know cricket, and I read everything I could about. I devoured it. It used to be something. It was like a project. I needed to know about so many different, what do you call it, teams from all over the world. Who's their captain, who's their vice captain, what are they doing, how are they, what did they last win. It was a study, so I had to do that. Then when I decided to have kids, I stayed home. I was a stay at home mom. When I wanted to do food, I just didn't do food. I went, I studied it, I immersed myself into it. I studied every nitty gritty about it. I came back, I experimented, I wrote a book about it. I still put out videos about it. And right.
Cutting you here. After having a kid, after having two kids, right? You decided that you want to go to London and do a master. I mean, a short course on culinary, right? I mean, how did that, like, because we still say, in Nepal and India, we both belong to the same mindset of when we have kids, it's usually the females who are like, now it's your job to look after the kids. And you decided that, no, I'm going to do my master's, or sorry, do my
My
course,
culinary, yeah.
right? So how
So
did that
because
start?
I really loved it.
How young were your kids?
My This was in 2011. So my daughter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. My daughter was 4 and my son was 5, 6, 7.
And you decided that you want to
Yes.
study, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted to study.
Mm-mm.
So I don't think I would be able to study if I didn't have the support of my parents and Arshad. They stood, they kind of stood like a fortress for those 3 months that I lived in London and had a blast, which I think is so important for a woman. And I studied like a crazy person. I mean, I went there to do that. So I was on top of my game. It was like, okay, I'm here to do this. I have only this much of time. I'm going to give it my best.
How was the experience like? Because again, you were venturing into a completely new thing, right, chef?
Yes.
Which you discovered slowly that okay,
Yes.
cooking is my interest. And I was reading one of your interviews where you said your guinea pig was your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my
So
friends.
yeah. So you were like completely again venturing into a new career, the love that you found cooking, right? And going there, into a different place, and then learning. How was that experience?
So it is fabulous because I actually didn't know much. So I learned everything I did in school. I am trained in the art of French cuisine, and then there were many, many other variations that we learned on the side. There was Italian, there was Mexican, there was Indian. There was a lot of, there was pub food, this, that, and the other. So from bakery to boulangerie to cuisine, I learned everything. And then what happens is when you study abroad, you have to come back and then you have to apply those methods, but if you use the ingredients that are available to you here. So I think that is the bigger challenge. But it was a wonderful experience, and I really think that there is no limit to how much you can equip yourself with education. I'm somebody who loves it.
I
So
mean, you're an inspiration. I mean, we say that, you just have one life, right? Why not do everything that you love? And I think
yeah,
you're an epitome of that. I
I'd be
mean,
very bored if I
yeah.
didn't.
And the reason that I'm relating chef or cookery is because that's where you discovered your love for writing, right?
Yes.
Though you wrote as a kid, and you used to write stories as a
I
kid,
used to write
right?
stories.
Yeah, but I think it just went hidden,
Yes, I think
and then
food got it
you had to
out.
be a chef to discover that you are a writer.
Yes.
How did that
Yes, I never
journey?
thought of that before, but you are absolutely right. I had to learn food to kind of get back to what I loved doing, that was writing. And because I was doing food, I used to put out a recipe, then I would explain it, and then somehow it used to get into a different area, and I realized I had a lot to say. So I was I used to write a blog. Of course, I've stopped writing that, but that's how the whole writing journey started. It started from food.
It started from blogging, right?
Yeah.
So from blogging, how did it reach to poetry?
So I was writing poetry on the side, and I
Like, tell me the first time that you wrote
the
poems, because
first
we
time
are.
I wrote poetry
Yeah.
was in 2011, somewhere in September. It was a poem called Little Lamp, and this poem, I don't know whether I have it. Let me see, because I write everything on my phone. So I've written all my books on my phone. So this was one of the first pieces I ever wrote. Little, I must be having it. Wait, I'll just do this. Are we running out of time?
uh, 10 minutes, right?
Really? I've put a timer. When I got on stage, I put a 45-minute timer. I'm very, very good with this. Oh no, I don't have it. It's in my Gmail. Oh, how
Okay,
sad. It's
so
gone. So anyway, I wrote this poem called Little Lamp, which basically was about the fact that all of us, each and every one of us, has this fire that's burning inside us. And sometimes we forget about it. Sometimes life, douses it, but it never goes fully off. And because it does not go fully off, there is any point of time that you can tap into it, and you will be full of this fire for whatever you want to do in life all over again. So that was the first poem I wrote.
and that has been actually the one liner of your life.
I think so.
And I'm actually so impressed. I mean, I'm not impressed. Impressed is a very small word. I'm like very inspired. I
Thank
see a lot
you.
of females here, even males here. We're like stuck with, okay, I'm just going to do this and this.
No,
I
but
think I think
I
at
have to
this
also
age,
say, I
I think
also
you've
have to
reached.
say that I think I think I've been really blessed. I feel that I've in this opportunity to walk down so many different paths. And the first thing I think you need to do is accept it inside you. So once you are fine with everyone saying whatever they want about you, there could be so many people who read and say, oh my God, that's terrible and it's total crap. That's okay. That's your opinion. But I love it.
Yeah.
So when you accept it,
Mhm.
I think it gets easier for you to follow that path, because then you know that this is fine. This is wow. And so that's what it is.
I mean, like, to follow your dreams in such a way, because I will not be surprised if you will climb Mount Everest. And I think you're in your 50s right now.
Yes.
And she doesn't look like
Yes.
I mean, it's like you're just starting to live your life right now. So one question I
Always.
want to ask you is that, yeah, we are a patriarchal society, right? We don't have so much of freedom.
Not
Females.
anymore.
So is it the females who have to decide, yes, I want to do this, irrespective of my family, you listen to me or not? Or is it the parents or the husband, everyone's support? Because in lunch we were discussing how Arshad Warsi, who's a very, very famous name as an actor, he used to sit down and look after the kids while you went to
They are his
study. culture so much, ingrained here. So, what is the advice that you want to give the females, irrespective of your parents and your partner and your kids supporting you or not? What is it that the female has to do, to say that yes, I am going to do this, whether you support me or not? Because if you are lucky, you will get the support, right? But if you are not lucky enough, you can't just, I mean, by watching you today, you can't live one life. I mean, you can't just live
You can't
in
live life on one
in
single
one
street.
box,
Let's
right?
just say
So what
that.
is the advice that you would want
So
to
I
give the
don't I don't
females?
think it's advice. I think it is what you think of yourself. I really feel that um, if you feel passionately about something and you really want to follow a certain path, I really feel like, in the words of Shah Rukh Khan, the entire universe conspires to get it for you. So I just feel that I grew up in a family where my father cooked, my father went to the market, my father helped my mom clean, and I never looked at it like he goes to work and then he's doing this. My mom was working too, and she also did this. So I just believe that there is, of course, that equation will go up and down. Okay, sometimes it will be a 60-40, sometimes it will be a 70-30, sometimes you'll be a 30, sometimes you'll be a 70. It just depends. But there is a partnership that needs to be in place for both the people in that relationship, whether it be mother children, or mother father, whether it is whatever kind of relationship, for both to be happy. I can't always be the one who's always happy and you be the one who's always sad. At one point of time, then you will want to get up and leave or kick me in my stomach. So we don't want both. So I think all of us at some point of time need to have a little balance, a little thought for the other person, a little kindness, a little acceptance and forgiveness, and a lot of saying I'm sorry. I think when a heartfelt sorry and a heartfelt please and a heartfelt thank you just goes a long way.
Yeah, and as a mother, I think you're doing fantastic, because
I don't
that's
know
how
about
you're
that.
raising the two sons, right? To
A boy and
do
a girl. I have a
a
boy
boy
and a
and a
girl.
girl. Okay. So I think we are at the end. Can we listen to your last poetry and then we'll?
My poetry is too big. I'll tell you what,
Okay.
I'll be reciting one tomorrow. And hopefully they will have stocked my books.
So then let
So
me ask you a last question. What's next in life? I mean, when you're in your 50s, I'm so sorry if
no,
I'm
I'm
revealing
fine.
your
I'm
age.
absolutely
When
fine.
what's the mindset like? In the 50s, you feel like your life has started, or it's like, okay, I've now reached the
My life
midpoint.
has always been started and always been on play. So I don't feel any different that, oh my God, now I have to do something, die without anything. I have no such thoughts in my head.
So what's in the bucket list? Like three
I have
things.
nothing in my bucket list.
Yeah, three things like now you want to, maybe
Ah,
achieve or.
yeah. So I want to learn pottery because I've always loved pottery. I I want to start running again. Okay, and I definitely want to go on a trek because I've not done that in years.
Nepal is the best
I
place for
know.
that. Thank you so much. I
Thank
think
you,
I've got
everyone.
such an inspiration
Thank
and
you.
so
Thank you
much
so much.
energy.
Thank you. Thank you
I
for
think it has
attending.
inspired us to, just follow your dreams and do whatever makes us happy. So on that note,
It's
I would
like follow your dreams, but do take your brains with you. Follow your heart, but take your brains with you. It's that.
thank you.
Thank you very much for this wonderful session. We went to the moon and recently we came back. I'd like to call Dr. Sabitri Kokshapati on stage to distribute the token of love and appreciate with the letters of appreciation to our special guest. Thank you for this wonderful time. ताली चाहिँ बजाइदिनु पर्छ होला Moving forward, we have another session. We will learn about media, literature, and the social responsibility. Thank you so much for this wonderful time once again. Thank you very much. Your cheeks off. This is okay. For this session, I would like to call on stage Mr. Atish Kumar and Saurav Dwivedi in the DAS. Please come on stage. Um, I think you should come from here. We have changed the route. Okay, thank you. This is your time, and you have 45 minutes. Thank you very much. This is your time. Please take your time.